Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast with Mike Trainer, Jay Jules, and John Depot. Hey, what's up, Giants fan? Welcome to the BBO NYG podcast. I am Mike. That's Jules. That's John. We're going to talk about the game, preview the next game. We got breaking news coming about Odell Beckham and Kenny G that you're only going to hear on this podcast. So I got a little inside scoop, and we'll talk about that after our first commercial break. But guys, man, I really did not expect the Giants to beat Green Bay. You heard me last week. I mean, I always take the Giants money line and take the Giants with the points to try to hedge my bet. And sure enough, I won some fucking money on that. I couldn't believe it, especially after starting the game when we were down like 10 points. But I mean, what great halftime adjustments. Barkley stud again, Daniel Jones on fire, lighting it up, proving people wrong again, like usual. I mean, what else is new? And I mean, the way this team is playing, they're scrappy. I mean, this is a team I could really, really get behind, man, that I really love to root for. And it just continues to blow my mind that we're 4-1, and there's still people out there in this fucking social media verse that still are whining and complaining like little fucking babies. We're 4-1. What the fuck? But what a great game. But what a great Sunday morning. I started drinking at 9 a.m. Kegs and eggs, my guys. Kegs and eggs. It was out of control.
It was so much fun, man. The first, quarter and change of the game, you got that sinking feeling like, fuck, this is just not going to be our day. We're punching above our weight class, and just all right, let's get through and see what happens against fucking Baltimore. And then all of a sudden, they just started making plays and hit the gas, and they just never fucking let off. Scored in the last 5 drives. Daniel Jones with a 15-yard bloody fucking touchdown drive. Some trickery involved in there. Saquon coming back, providing those explosive plays. And it was one of the most, I feel like, emotionally fun games to watch that I can remember in fucking years. It might have been the biggest Giants win since Super Bowl 46, if you consider everything that was involved. Because even in 2016, we got out to a really, really hot start, and we were, basically guaranteed the playoffs pretty early on. There was no huge games that needed to solidify who the Giants were. The Giants already had Eli Manning, already had a lot of pass rush and Odell Beckham and stuff like that. So there was expectations of the Giants. There was none this year. So to go out there, win, go 3-1, then have to fly across the pond to fucking England and play against the Packers, and that was your first real, true test of what this team is made of. And I mean, it's one thing to beat a team pillar to post. It's an entirely different thing when you're down 14 fucking points or 13 points, whatever it was, and you're able to come back and make plays. You have backup guys, practice squad guys coming out making plays against their wide receivers, frustrating Aaron Rodgers, and come out of there with a victory, man. It was nothing could happen on Sunday that was just that would have just after that game that would have fucking upset me. By noon I was like, fuck it, we're fucking 4-1, we're legit, and it's a new era over here, just a new era.
I mean, listen, this is just insane. I'm not gonna lie, when we go down 10-3 to start the game, or 14-3, whatever, we were down, right? We were down early. That's when I cracked open my first beer. I was like, fuck this. This is going to be a miserable day. If this is going to go this way, I was like, fucking Mike is right. I'm ready to start texting him. Like, oh, God damn it. As soon as this fucking took the Packers with the points and shit. As soon as I cracked open that beer, the fucking game changed. It was almost like they were waiting for me to have a couple of drinks. They're like, oh, Jules ain't drinking yet? All right. What's going on, bro? Nobody's up yet. It's too early in the fucking morning over on the East Coast. And listen, then the game just like slowly but surely they just started creeping back into it. And you guys mentioned about the second half adjustments, dude. That's what good coaches do. All right, and there's not enough rather that could be said about that. You see the difference there, right? Every team goes in with a game plan, right? And sometimes those game plans work the entire game, and other times those game plans go in, and you realize that what you had wasn't exactly what you thought you needed to get further and move the ball and win. And all of a sudden, you just make a couple of adjustments here and there, critique one or two things, and blitz this and send this guy and do all these other things. And all of a sudden, you turn the tide on the momentum of the game. I mean, if you looked at the way Aaron Rodgers was playing in the first half, the dude was giddy. He was laughing on the sidelines. He's having a blast. He's like, yo, I'm ready to go outside and fucking start drinking some pints in the streets of London and shit. And then all of a sudden, he came out of the second half and he was like, who the fuck are these guys? You know, and he was getting fucking rattled. He's getting hit. Passes deflected. Of course, 2 big ones at the end of the game. I mean, dude, look, this is what I was saying last week, and you're going to probably continue to hear me to say this all year long. This is what you look at when it comes to teams. You have your powerhouses. You know, you have your Buffaloes, you have your fucking Kansas Cities. You know, you have those teams that are just going to be the better teams above the rest of the league. And then you have your shittier teams, right? You have those teams that just aren't going to win, you know, Washington and other teams, right? And they're just not that good. And you have these other teams that are right in the middle. And the difference between those teams are the guys that do the 2 things that I mentioned the last time. You beat the teams you're supposed to, and you split with the really good teams. And now let's take a look back. We beat the teams we were supposed to in all the games so far. Tennessee's not that good. They ain't what they were last year. We beat them, right? You go through that list. And what happened? Okay, we dropped a tough one at home on Monday night to Dallas. But here we come back with a huge win against Green Bay. You just split with 2 good teams. And if you do that the rest of the year, you could find yourself in the playoffs. That's what these playoff teams do. And that's how you get in. Look, the last time the Giants were really a super dominant team, you got to go back to like 1990 when they were like 12-4 and they were running through and winning the division and going through where you wanted. The last 2 times we won a Super Bowl, we were scrappy, fighty teams. And I'm not trying to say this team is far away. We don't have playmakers on offense yet. We'll see what happens later on. But to say that our top practically 4 wide receivers barely played 2 games this year, and we're 4-1, and our defensive line has yet to play with each other. You have yet to see the full defensive line out there with Lawrence and Williams and Ojulari and Thibs at the same time yet this season. And we're 4-1. I need to just keep saying that, all right? And it's going to lead me into what I think about the predictions for Baltimore and future games. But, man, what a fucking day on Sunday. The rest of the day was just gravy. I didn't care. My fantasy teams were getting their heads beaten in, and I didn't even give a shit.
Did you see Aaron Rodgers' doppelganger in the stands?
Yeah, how crazy.
You guys notice that? So it looked like in the game, like it looked like Aaron Rodgers was the legit Aaron Rodgers in the first half, but in the second half, I think that guy came out the stands and went in his jersey, man. Because
he did that in the State Farm commercial, right? Where he had to really go out and practice. I think Aaron Rodgers literally left in the first half, and he's like, "Yo, my doppelganger's got this." And went out and started drinking somewhere in fucking London.
Yeah, it looked totally like that, man. And I tell you, the way the defense played, like especially at the end of the ball game, when they just got like that knowledge of jumping in the air and tipping the pass. I mean, K. Tibbs, like my man, got held on every fucking play during that game. It was crazy. He made a big fucking impact. And you're right, Jules. When these guys get back with Leo and Aziz, it's going to be something fucking special. I mean, Sexy Dexy was just. Yo, he's the fucking man.
What a year
he is the fucking man on this fucking team, bro.
Shit.
He's talking shit to Aaron Rodgers. He's dancing. He's having a good time. Yo, this team is playing scrappy. They're playing loose, man. They're a fun team to root for, man. I tell you.
They believe in themselves. And I think one of the downfalls of the Packers this weekend was Aaron Rodgers didn't believe in his team. Once the second half flipped and the Giants really started moving the ball, they kept showing Aaron Rodgers on the sideline. Like every couple of plays, they showed him sitting there, rolling his eyes, huffing and puffing, looking around. And you just saw that he was not comfortable with what was going on for whatever reason. He was mad. You could see that he's mad, but you could see like in his eyes that he didn't really care for his teammates in that moment and didn't believe that they would be able to, keep going with what they were doing earlier in the game. And the Giants did not play like that. The Giants played every single one of those 47 guys that get a jersey, the coaches and everybody else. They played like they could win that game. They played like they could be the better team. And you saw it. And even when Saquon went out, I mean, that guy has been the league's MVP so far. Saquon goes out and the offense says, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to step up without any of our top 4 or 5 wide receivers going into training camp. Even if you want to include Colin Johnson in that also, we lost him and he was supposed to be one of our starting wide receivers or at least, right up there. And they believed in themselves to go ahead and they put together a 15 fucking play drive that ended in a touchdown. I've had, Daniel Jones has had a lot of drives where he's had teens worth of plays that went 90 plus yards, but not many of them have finished in the end zone. And, you know, doing that, converting with his legs, converting multiple long third downs, you don't do that. All those things don't come together without any mistakes from anybody. No sacks, no fucking, you know, stupid penalties to disrupt the drive. That means everybody's playing with confidence, everybody's playing focus, and everybody's playing for each other. And that was one of the big things that I noticed in that game, was why we were able to come back and fucking steal that game away from the Packers.
They're playing together.
They're playing together.
You mentioned it too. It was awesome to see that when Barkley did have to sit out for a little bit, how Matt Breida came in. All he did was what he was supposed to. He protected the football and he ran as fucking hard as he could. Because you saw, I mean, bro, he was like, screw it. I might get like 5 carries and that's it for this game. But I'm going to run those 5 carries as hard as I ever ran a football before in my life. And with the way that this whole line has been blocking, Matt Breida looked okay for that little stretch there. I mean, obviously we needed Barkley to win that game. But at the end of the day, like, seeing Breida come in and just step in when he needed to and be that next man up, even for that short period of time, dude, that was awesome. I was like, look at friggin' Matt Breida running the football right now. I was like, holy cow.
Even Gary Brightwell, bro, he scored that touchdown.
Brightwell as well, yeah.
He didn't have an open lane. He fucking just kept those legs chugging, got help from his teammates, and they just rugby scrummed that fucking, mountain of fucking flesh and just moved across the goal line for a touchdown. And that was a huge moment in the game. Mike, you brought up Dexter Lawrence, speaking of huge moments. That was really, really where that game turned. And just all the momentum was blue. Okay. And it was right after that Dexter Lawrence fucking sack. That wasn't even just a sack. That was a 3-point play, if not more, because they knocked him out of field goal range. And who knows? Let's say he doesn't get that sack. They can convert. That could be 7 points. Forget about just the 3 from the field goal. That is a huge play. And Dexter Lawrence, he's another ghetto goon. I know people get real mad about the Gettleman guys having success.
I'm giving you guys 3.5 at this point in time. All right, 3.5. All right. Obviously Barkley, obviously Thomas. Right, those go without saying. Dexter Lawrence, yes, and the half is going to Daniel Jones right now. Half, because I still want to see Daniel play with a quality receiver. Give me 2 healthy fucking receivers, one nice guy. You know what I mean? I just want to see.
Is he going to play worse with better receivers?
I don't know. Like, that's it. I just want to see it. I just want to see it. What I'm trying to say is I want to see, like, when people say, oh, because, you still got these haters, they're still whispering around there. Right now they're super quiet. They're still like real quiet shit. But it's there. So like if you do, let's say the Giants, because we're going to get into rumors and all that shit after the break. I get it. But let's say the Giants do bring in DJ Moore, and you got a healthy DJ Moore with a healthy Wendell Robinson and Bellinger and all these guys. And all of a sudden, Jones is still not, he's maybe not throwing a good pass. It was a pass that Mark Sanchez said where Slayton was cutting across the middle in a way, and it was kind of throwing a little like behind him a bit, and he dropped it. And like Sanchez was like, oh, you got to catch that. Yeah, you know what? Jones could have put the ball a little bit better on him. You know what I'm saying?
Both could be right. Both could be right.
I want to just see that. I'm not saying he's not capable of it. No, I'm not going there. But I just want to see. I just want to see, like earlier in this season, while we're still 4-1 or whatever the next couple of weeks have to hold for us, and we're a winning record. We're competing in a division, and I want to see him out there playing with some fucking receivers to just see if we could really open up this offense or not. That's where I'm coming from with that. It's like a fan like just dying. It's like a kid at Christmas where I kind of know what I got for Christmas, but I don't know exactly what's under that tree,
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. Like, I want to see it too. I want to see what the full potential of what this offense could be with offensive weapons not named Saquon Barkley on the field.
Right.
But I don't think that like for me personally, like I mean, I've been a Daniel Jones supporter and fan since literally fucking day one. And I've always believed in the kid. I've always said, he just needs a line, he needs some playmakers, and he needs a scheme around him. And every other quarterback who has that, they're successful or they're not. And he's shown plenty of flashes through his 4 years playing quarterback for the New York Giants that he was capable of exactly what he did on Sunday, carrying this team and playing well enough for the Giants to win fucking ball games. I fucking love the kid, man. I can't wait until they announce that.
Wasn't he like 60% and he was still running for first downs? You could tell he was fucking hobbling, but he was
they
still
didn't run him one time until Saquon went out. They didn't run him one single time. They wanted to protect him. Yeah. And then once Saquon went down, they're like, we got to go a little deeper into the bag of trips. Daniel, you all right? He said, fuck it, let's go. And it was a big factor, bro. He converted a couple third downs with those feet.
Yeah, listen, let's not forget, Green Bay's a good fucking defense. That's a good defense. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not a bad defense that we faced there. So, like, considering that they were what?
Corner.
Yeah, they were number one on against opponents for third down conversions. They led the league defensively as stopping people on third down conversions. I mean, that says a lot, especially when it's like on Daniel's hands. It was showing how he was all bloodied up and everything. Like, the dude played his ass off. There's not one. I think even I saw haters being like, "Yo, say what you want about him. He played his fucking ass off last week." Like I had Cowboy fans texting me being like, "Man, I talked a lot of shit about him, but he played with a lot of fucking heart, that dude."
And at the end of the game, Jules, when he's just walking by saying what's up to Aaron Rodgers, whatever, just looks like plain face, look like stupid Eli face. It's just like, business, man. He didn't get too high, too hyped up, nothing like that, like the other guys did. Straight to business, man. Respect to that fucking dude, man. I hope he proves. I hope he proves a lot of people wrong, man, including even like me and you, Julesy, in the beginning of the year, we're like, what the fuck is going on? But then when we see shit that a lot of fans and people don't see is when you actually go to the game live and you see how guys, like I said, don't get open and shit, and you have to check down or you have to run out the pocket to fucking make a play. He's doing everything he can, man. I don't want to, knock the wide receivers. I'll get more into that later, what this guy told me on the breaking news segment. But just a great game. I think we should just go right into, go into the the Baltimore game. Start talking about that before we take a break.
All right, let's do it, man. For me,
I'm excited for the game.
I want to know, like, with these injuries, I want to know if Adoree Jackson is actually going to be able to play. Like, is he going to play?
Have you guys heard an update on it? Because the last update that I heard was basically right after the game that night. Someone asked Adoree about it, and they said he was only held out for precautionary reasons. Okay. That it's I don't even know if he'll be in the injury report this week. So most likely he's going to be out there on Sunday, because unless something from mid-game until after it got worse, but
he looked like he was
maybe
partying.
Monday or Tuesday. Whatever.
He looked like he was partying in the locker room after the game. So he looked
kind of
like
happy. It didn't seem like a guy that was going to be down for a while. And he said it was precautionary. So it might have been a line just to kind of answer the question without giving away information.
Yeah.
But if I was a betting man, I'd have money that Adoree Jackson will be out there playing corner on Sunday.
Getting into the game, Jules. Lamar Jackson, man, he's got to be the biggest threat. I don't know what Wink is going to scheme against him, but I tell you, I'm looking forward to it, man.
Well, what's great about that is, Wink has also sort of schemed against him in practice for the last 7 years. Or, like I'm exaggerating a little bit.
5 years.
Lamar's been in the league that long, but you get where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
So he does know him. He's seen the other side of him. He's seen him in practice. He's seen. I'm not trying to say this dude's got like many weaknesses, but everybody's got a weakness somewhere. A couple of them, right? So he does know that. To me, I think the key for the Giants to really go in and stay home rather, and pull off this upset on a quick turnaround week from being across the seas in another country. The key to me is having that defensive line healthy. If this is the game where we have all four guys healthy, I don't know. It's going to be fucking interesting as hell, because what they have as far as wide receivers are concerned, that doesn't really impress me. Yes, I know they have Andrews. Andrews is going to be a motherfucker to handle. JK's coming a long way from his injury, but he's still not at 100%. He looks good. He's getting tougher. He's getting stronger as the season progresses, but he's still not 100%. I saw that he was listed with like a chest injury against Cincinnati. Look, the Bengals fucking had that game. I think Burrow just, I don't know what he did, man. He got a little too happy. They could have taken I really think looking at that game, because I went home and I watched that game, and I actually stayed and watched most of the second half of that game. And down the stretch, but the Bengals had a decision. To me, they had enough momentum. They looked like they were driving enough where they were going to go in, score the touchdown, and take the lead. But it wasn't going to be enough to beat them, because that they were going to be only up by 2 and they could lose by a field goal, right? And it seemed as if the coach didn't know what he wanted to do. He didn't know if he wanted to go and score quick and give Lamar the ball back with like maybe 4 minutes or so, or try to drain as much clock and give the ball back to Lamar with like less than 2 minutes. And obviously he chose the latter. But I'm screaming at the TV, and I'm like, fuck you, just get in there and score already. Like, give Joe Burrow the ball back with less than a minute to fucking play and let him go down the fucking field. Like, that's the type of game it turned into in the fourth quarter. So anyway, with all that said, the point of the matter is that Baltimore is a beatable team. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They got to come on the road. All right. But we need to be healthy. We cannot go in there and play with, guys missing on defense and all this type of shit and expect to beat them, because they're going to give us everything they got. And we're not going to have the same opportunity that we did this week, because Harbaugh is a hell of a coach and he's going to make the same kind of adjustments at halftime. So this is going to be a fucking real good test of the game. But I definitely think that I'd be feeling a hell of a lot better if that defensive line is healthy for us.
If you just, with the exception of playing the Eagles twice, this might be the most difficult game left on the schedule. The point that you
got
made
Minnesota,
about
you got Minnesota on Christmas Eve in Minnesota. It's always tough to play there.
Yes, but I would say if you were to have to pick your opponent, Minnesota versus Baltimore, most people most times will choose to rather play Minnesota than Baltimore. I think the point of Wink Martindale really knowing Lamar Jackson and that being a big advantage for the Giants, I think that's true, but I also think that it's a bit of an advantage for Baltimore that they also all know Wink's strategy, like the tenets of the whole philosophy of what he does defensively. They know that stuff, and it's not going to be a surprise for anybody on that team what he's going to be doing, what he's going to be trying to do to stop him. Maybe he gets a little creative and he's able to kind of steal a couple plays from them. I think what it's basically going to come down to is team speed, being able to contain Lamar. And I got to say, I think Landon Collins plays a big role in this game. And, he, like Odell Beckham, he was an asshole on his way out after he was here. That one time that he pulled down Caden Smith, he horse collared him after the game. After the play, he pulled him down by his neck and threw him on the ground. And then Saquon pushed him and shit. Like, that should all rub me the wrong way. But I will say this. He left here, clowned the Giants. Now, 5 weeks into the season or 4 weeks into the season, season the 3-1, there's actually something new going on there. It's fresh. It's fun. And this is the team that drafted him. And for his first 5 years in the league, he was a very, 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 or first 4 years in the league, he loved being a Giant. And I got to think, like, he flew to London to be with the team, but he didn't fly with the team. He flew by himself because I guess whatever the transaction, whatever the timeline is of how you can. Yeah, he flew by himself, and actually a license plate guy saw him in the airport. But it must have been a pretty wild thing to be like, I left here for money, and now I'm back, and now all of a sudden I'm in London with this team, and watching that game on the sideline, seeing the guys hyped up, and seeing the locker room after. If I'm Landon Collins, I got to be hyped that I'm back. Like, I would almost make up for the fact that I went to a division rival for money. Like, I ruined my Giants legacy. I was a Pro Bowl player, 3-time Pro Bowler, and was, greedy. And listen, you're a football player. You got to cash out when you can. But at the same time, the greed part of that, that 7 deadly sins, that greed part of that is the reason why he went to a division rival and then was talking shit over there. So I got to think that Landon Collins being back on the field for the Giants, he's going to be playing with some pride. He's going to be playing to make up for some lost time, and also having a third safety to go along with McKinney and Love and Dane Bell, and in this case 4 safeties. You need that speed on the field to make sure that Lamar doesn't do anything crazy with his legs. He wants to throw the ball around. He's not an accurate enough quarterback to be able to beat you like that. I don't think, at least. And the Giants' run defense is really good, and they got Leonard Williams come back this week. So it's really going to be a matter of Lamar throwing the ball around and Lamar fucking using his legs to beat the Giants. And I think Landon Collins is going to play a big factor in why that they won't, and the Giants will come out victorious this week.
Hopefully. But one thing you did say there, John, that is a key. I mentioned it, but I didn't really go into it. I mentioned Harbaugh being a hell of a coach. And, you said, as much as he may know what Lamar's doing, they're going to know what he's doing. And here's where that coaching and adjustments are going to be, right? Harbaugh will go into halftime and say, okay, Wink's attacking us this way. This is what he's doing. I've seen him do this for years. This is probably adjustments he's going to make to us at halftime. So it's going to be a lot of that, man. It's going to be a lot of that back and forth shit. This is going to be that. That's why I want to have a healthy defensive line, because this is going to be that game that's going to be won in the trenches this week. And, it's really going to be a battle of coaches. And if we can go toe to toe with Baltimore, I got a really good feeling with this fucking team. I'm going to be honest with you. That's where I feel with this.
At that point, I mean, you're talking about a 5-1 team that beat the number 1 seed in the AFC, the number 1 seed in the NFC, another playoff team in Baltimore. I mean, you're stacking some serious W's. This isn't the Panthers and the Bears. And only losing one game where you were leading in the third quarter by a touchdown, and by all rights had a fair chance to win that game. You could be an undefeated team right now. I mean, at that point, what are you supposed to say? That they're not a good team, that they're not a good team, that they shouldn't make the playoffs. Like, how could you say it at that point?
This week is going to say a lot. If we like, you know what? Even if we
let's say a lot. This week already said a lot, though.
If we're in this fucking game till the fourth quarter and it's going down to the wire and we're fighting back and forth and we lose the game, you know what? That's going to say a lot. And a lot of it, like I just mentioned prior, was literally saying that we're going to see, man. This is going to be a game where coaches are going to be a huge influence on it. I know people think that it's all about talent. It's all about players. It is, but this is where you see a lot of coaching actually play into a factor for wins. And and one of the reasons why I love football so much is that it is a sport where coaches make a fucking difference. You know what? You could put Joe Torre on the Yankees and they win a bunch of World Series. You put Phil Jackson with Michael Jordan, they won a bunch of championships. Like, they're good coaches. I'm not taking anything away from them. But at the end of the day, these guys that can take these type of teams and win, those are your damn good coaches, man, for sure. And I really think that from a perspective of anybody who could enjoy that part of the game, you're going to be in for a treat this Sunday.
Can't wait. There's going to be, I just hope Landon Collins actually gets elevated from the practice squad so he could play in the game. That's, I think he's more of a linebacker in a way, because you got to look at Jalen Smith, the way he's been playing. Like, he's been making some big plays, man. He's been contributing. So I don't know where exactly Landon Collins fits, but that's Wink's problem. You know what I mean?
And listen, I think Collins was brought in just because of Julian Love, and we didn't really know what his situation was going to be with concussion.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that was a precautionary type thing to bring him in. And then now, if everybody's healthy and ready to go, all right, we got extra guys. There's nothing wrong with that. We know that injuries happen all the time, and depth is always something good to have.
Of course. And I think Shane Lemieux and Nick Gates are actually practicing or doing individual drills. So for the next couple of weeks, that could be something, because we do need guard help. Let's face it. Yeah. And I think that'll be important to get him. And I tell you, if Nick Gates comes back to the player he was, which is just fucking absolutely astounding. If they could have him play center, I tell you, man, I think that would make a really bigger impact on this line than actually slide him over to guard.
Only thing is, I don't think he's going to play center. I think he's going to line up left guard.
You think so?
I think that's where he's going to be.
I thought Shane would be.
We'll see. I don't know. It depends on how healthy Shane is, right? So, I mean, look, if all these guys start getting healthy and all these guys are up to game speed and they're good and they're ready to be plugged in, this is a good problem to have.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the problems you want to have, like, we're like, oh, shit, we don't know we're going to play them, And you're right. Listen, maybe it's a matter of Gates coming back and not necessarily, like, taking over that center spot. But maybe Feliciano gets a little tired. Maybe he's a little nicked up and banged up. Get him out a couple of drives. You rotate him in and out so that, Feliciano can be fresh in the fourth quarter or something. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. It definitely will be. And like I said, having too many linemen is not a bad problem, bro. Not at all.
Yeah. We should be so lucky that fucking all 5 of our offensive linemen just play every single snap the rest of the season.
Fuck yeah.
For real. For real. These injuries got to stop. All right. I think that's a good preview of the Ravens game. You want to take a quick commercial break? I'll get into those breaking news with the rumors going around.
Let's do it.
I'm nervous to hear what this is.
All right. We'll be right back on the Big Blue Offensive Podcast. All right. We are back on the BBO NYG Podcast. I am Mike. That's Jules. That's John. Guys, so I ran into my contact. You guys know him. I talked about him before up in, I can't say his name on the podcast, but I'll say, I'll give the location, Bedford, New York. That's a little bit of a hint for some of you diehard Giant fans.
Can we give him like a nickname? Can we call him like Benny or something?
Benny, sure. Let's call him Flex. So Benny, yeah. So I ran into Benny. Like he's always around. He's works there for Giants at Giant Stadium. So he's like definitely into the know. He told us a lot of things that we broke on this podcast before that turned true. And I just want to say this. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. I was always kind of be like, I never want OBJ to come back because of what he did with his antics and shit like that. But dude, there is real interest on both sides about OBJ coming back to the Giants. We all know he visited them. He pretty much told me like, this is what OBJ pretty much wants. He wants to go to a winning team, obviously, but he's not exactly chasing Super Bowl rings. He's not just going to hop on like just any team. You know what I mean? He wants to go to a winning culture. It's very important to him. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a Super Bowl. So Buffalo, he pretty much laughed at when I asked him about Buffalo, but the Rams are a real possibility. You know, they're missing wide receivers. They need help. He's got a great relationship with McVay, so they're definitely in the running, obviously. But a lot of teams are going to be interested in him. But Odell is definitely interested in the Giants. I couldn't believe it when I heard it. And, you know, listen, I don't want to say it'll be a good thing or a bad thing. I was a little bit disappointed. I kind of pissed off how the way he left. He was very childish, very immature at the time. But I tell you, the more I look at it, maybe it'd be a good story for him to come back and try to almost make amends for all the crap he pulled, for him getting traded. I know a lot of people blame Gettleman, especially like all the fanboys. They want to blame the GM, but in reality, that dude, it was on him. They signed him to the contract. They wanted him to stay. But the fact that he started acting out and doing all these crazy things, the Giants were kind of like, they were forced in a way to make that trade. And hey, listen, we did get Dex. We got a nice couple draft picks. We got O'Shane Simonez. It was a great trade for us. But
Peppers
I tell
for a
you,
while.
I'm starting to warm up to the idea of bringing him back, especially like if we're winning ball games and we're going like we have a good record. Get another playmaker on this team. It'll make for a good story. It'll make a good story for the NFL. And I think it appeals to OBJ to come back to New York and kind of like, I think he knows like he kind of like fucked up a little bit. That's the kind of sense I had when I was talking to Benny. So I'm hoping he comes back. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Would you like, I know, John, you would welcome him back if and all that. You said that on last week's podcast. But what do you guys think? Would you want him just yes or no?
For me, yeah. I mean, if you were able to get a number one wide receiver on this team right now, I think that'll be like the last piece of the offensive puzzle to have a legitimate top 10 offense. You're not gonna be the number one offense. Even if Odell comes here and Tony comes back, and you have both of those guys playing to their potential, I don't know that even still you're gonna have a number one offense. But you're going to be right outside the top 10, if not in the top 10, as far as, yardage and touchdowns and points and stuff like that. You're going to have explosive players all over the place. So I'm fine with it from that standpoint. If he's able to come in here, keep his head down, just contribute to the winning culture and not be somebody who's looking to get, get more famous again. Why not?
Jules?
I need him to be healthy. I need to know 100% that he's healthy. He's not supposed to be back already until November, right? So, like, I think honestly, what would make or break that decision, let's look at the Rams. The Rams are 2-3 currently. We're 4-1, right? So, like, yeah, it may not all be about getting that ring and jumping on board. And I think if that's the statement or comment that's sort of circulating, that just means he's not going to Kansas City. He's not going to Buffalo. Where like he knows that he goes to one of those two teams, that's it. He's that difference maker, and they're gonna probably get over the edge, right? So yeah, he's looking at both those teams. I mean, look, if we get to November, right, and I don't know if it's the first week, second week, whatever, but if the Giants are say 5-2 going into November, and the Rams are fucking 3-5 or whatever, whatever the numbers work out to be, right? I don't know if that's gonna make a difference or not. You know what I'm saying? Like it could though, and I could see him make a move, but I think the Giants need to win these next couple of games. We got to go down to Jacksonville. It's not going to be easy. We got a tough opponent in Baltimore coming in. If we could set up something where we can get a DJ Moore now, while, Kenny Galladay's done, that dude ain't going to fucking step foot on the field for the rest of the season. So fuck that piece of shit. You don't know what you're getting out of Tony. I do like what I saw out of Slayton. Maybe I saw like, one of those, those funny video things where they're saying it like, look, it's Darius Slayton, and all of a sudden it was like some dude in a coffin that like popped out of the coffin on top of a car while I was driving and started dancing around and shit, right? And I'm like, oh fuck, all right, yeah, you're right. Slayton fucking woke up from the dead. He's back. He's like, brand new guy. So yeah, a guy like DJ Moore, who's that steady. He's almost like a Sterling Shepard, but a little younger and a little better. We get a guy like that, he fits into the system. I don't need Odell to come here because, the Rams are sitting at 3-5 and we're sitting at 5-3 and we're a winning record team. So he comes to us, so I don't know what I really want out of him. If you said, Mike, like you said, Odell's coming back because he feels he owes the city something. And he literally goes out there and says, look, Giant fans, I'm sorry. When I was with you, I was immature. You know, I was a young guy in a big city who just fucking went reckless because of my talents. And now I want to come back because you guys are on a winning record and you got a shot at this division. And I want to come back because I owe it to the city. Then I'm fucking all on board. But if not, let's be smart. Let's keep the culture. Let's keep what's been making this team win. And if we really need that wide receiver, go get a guy like DJ Moore from the Panthers that are literally in sell mode and they're in desperate need of picks since they don't really have any. So that's kind of the way I feel when it comes to these wide receivers that are available currently.
I wouldn't mind taking him from Carolina, but I think he has like a 20 million cap hit. I mean, I know they could rework deals and shit like once the trade goes down. But I tell you, man, I'm on board for any wide receiver that wants to get up here, because after talking to Benny too, we talked about like Kenny G a little bit. I wanted to know anything about that. He's well liked in the locker room for people that think people hate him on the team. It's just not the case. The only thing is Dable. I think a lot of people know this anyway, but he just kind of confirmed it that Dable wants people on this team to practice hard, and he's like, no matter who you are, you're gonna play if you do those things, and if you don't, you're not gonna play. And he's really he don't care who you are. He's stuck by that. That's his rules. That was his number one rule, coming into the locker room. And I gotta give Dable credit for being that way, even though at times you're like, I want Kenny G in the game. We have no wide receivers. We need somebody to throw the ball to. But I get it, man. He's holding people accountable, and the way they responded, man, I can't argue that.
That's how you earn respect.
Yeah, I mean, and it showed if whatever you were told was accurate, and that's the reason why he wasn't seeing the field and getting the ball thrown to him as much as you would think that a number one wide receiver making $1 million a game would get. It's translated. I mean, every one of those motherfuckers wearing a blue jersey on Sunday, they play hard for this coach. They play hard for each other, and they believe in what's going on over here.
No doubt.
And you see a fire in them that I don't remember seeing since fucking, believe it and it will happen from Michael Strahan in 2007. That kind of fire, that kind of seeing Saquon Barkley after that crossing route that he grabbed and took for 46 yards or whatever it was, just fucking screaming and flexing. It was on the front page of the Star Ledger and all that stuff in ESPN. That kind of just passion for fucking.
He's just a running back, John. He's just a
running
back.
Yeah, that's
what people tell me on Twitter is fucking crazy. But listen, you guys want to what? We gotta Yankee game starts at about pretty soon, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we got 30 minutes, man. We got 30 minutes. I know we got to do haters in the picks, but you know what? I was quiet for half a second there because I was getting ready to fucking DM Kenny Galladay and be like, yo, bro, you're on a 4-1 team and you think you're better than everybody. Really, bitch? All right, you're still dead to me. I think what happened was they put fucking Kenny Galladay in that coffin and they took Darius Slayton out of it. And look at what Slayton.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I'm proud of Slayton, man. I've always been a Darius Slayton fan. I always just felt like he was like a Monty Toomer. There was just a Toomer 2.0, just a very calm, cool demeanor, reliable receiver. He's not going to blow your socks off. He's not going to catch for 190 yards and 3 touchdowns in a game. That's just not his game. But he can get you 80, he can get you 100, and he can catch a touchdown or two, and he'll make a contested catch, and he'll get open, which is something that has been very foreign to the New York Giants in the last however many years it's been since Odell's not been here, other than say Sterling Shepard. Yeah, I'm proud of Darius Lane. I'm proud of all those fucking ghetto goons, man. You got right now a list of 15 players that are contributing in a major way and being the reason why we're winning games that Dave Gettleman got. So I got a little bit forward to the haters club on that. So I don't know if that's what you want to get into.
I know now, you put up the list of the players. I actually copied and pasted most of them. I added some guys onto it, so just to go at some other people. So yeah, let's get into this haters club, man. Right now,
hey. Welcome all you ignorant ass bitches, critics, complainers, disgruntled rappers, and racists especially, to the 9th annual International Player Haters Ball. Oh man, hey.
Fuck the commercial break. The hater club, you know what it is, man. We fucking people come at us, they hate debate. So it's not all hate. Sometimes it's just good debating going on, good talking shit, you know. So we just got to throw names out there that we've come across. And man, I got one. I know John, you got one. Jules probably don't got any because he's been like up in Saratoga. Just I don't know what he's doing up there. But John, I'll start with you, man. Who you nominating in this week's Haters Club?
Believe it or not, I am going to nominate Dave Gettleman for the Haters Club.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Wait a minute. I
unbelievable.
got to clear my ear for a second there.
I do it sarcastically. A part of me believes that the guy knew how to scout, not a part of me. A part of me knows that he was able to scout talent. It just sucks that he just couldn't get the right coach in here. Shermer, fucking Judge. Like, I just wish there was a possibility that they, Brian Dable has been in the league for, 20 years, 25 years or whatever it is at this point. If there was some way where you could have got that, Dave Gettleman in there and, just had some success while he was here. I don't know what coach it would have been, but maybe we would have had to wait another year for Shane and Dable. I don't know what the story would have been, but those players, you got Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, fucking Andrew Thomas, Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, Darius Slayton. Now we can include Julian Love, Xavier McKinney, O'Shane Zimenez, Adoree Jackson. I'm sure I'm missing guys right now. Those are all huge contributors to this. So the guy knows how to bring in talent. I just wish that fucking he was able to get the right coach, and Dable specifically. Fucking then.
That was his downfall for sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Gettleman was 50-50 with everything, bro. He made some horrendous picks and he made some really good ones. I mean,
so that's the thing,
like DeAndre Baker, we're just gonna forget
thing.
about, right?
Right,
We traded up for him. Didn't get a second round pick that year.
Right,
but,
Jules,
40% hit rate.
Things too, man.
40% hit rate, Jules. Nobody's perfect.
No, I get
Right.
it. I get it. Nobody's perfect.
Right. So like if you're batting 500 as a fucking general manager, that literally every roster transaction that you make
Super
turns
he's
into
hit
a
500
starting
guys.
caliber.
He might be around 300. He might be a 300 hitter.
I think like
Right,
close to like 40.
Right, but it's right, exactly. He's closer to 40%, and that's through the entire draft. The vast majority of 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks barely see any playing time in the NFL, maybe a season or two at, playing backup special teams, and then they're out. And he was able to find guys that are now contributing to wins in fucking big games late in the draft. And we got one coming back. We got Nick Gates coming back too. Like, those guys should be contributors to wins.
Yeah.
Listen, there's no GM that's
nobody's perfect.
playing at 700-800. Like, that's not a thing.
It's unheard of. This never happens.
If you want, you can list off all the the Jonathan Stewarts and the Nate Solders of the world and stuff like that. But there's a reason why those things didn't work out. And if you do that, you're going to do that with every other GM that's ever existed. And you're going to be, if this is shocking to people that there was a 50% hit rate for Gettleman, you are going to be flabbergasted if you really went through 32 GMs and saw hits and misses for all of them.
Of course.
That's
happens all day
people
long.
don't believe it though, John. People don't.
You know what it is?
They don't believe it.
I'll tell you guys quick what really buried, like, Gettleman buried himself because he said he wanted to play smash mouth football. He wanted to build the trenches. He wanted to do these different things. And he did it, but then he didn't fully commit to it. So that's the difference. He did it, but he never fully committed. No, listen, if you were really doing that, we don't really have Daniel Jones on this team. You take Josh Allen there and you make that defensive line even crazier. Now you're really building in the trenches and you take a shot on some other quarterback and you build that trench until it's fucking set. And then you go get your franchise quarterback. You could have went out and signed the backup. You could have went and just signed whoever the fuck was like whatever quarterback was the hot, fucking, guy, free agent for whatever for that year to just kind of come in and handle the team and help out Eli Manning out. You didn't have to go and reach for Daniel Jones on the 6th pick, because that's what he did. So, that's what really buried him. He said he wanted to play smash mouth football and he wanted to build the trenches, and he missed out on certain guys. He got certain guys right, but think about it. If he would have stuck to that principle, could you imagine the offensive defensive line we would have had? And who knows what kind of fucking backup quarterbacks and all this other shit we would have had to have gone through, but we're still going through it, right? So, that's what he did. That's what screwed him up, because in the end of the day, people just look at what happens in the 1st and 2nd round. Ain't nobody really hanging around for the 3rd, 4th round picks. Listen, if you're not a diehard Giants fan, you're not fucking paying attention to fucking some of the other guys that were in certain trades or guys that came over as free agents later in the year or something like that. So, that's why he stands out so much as being this disaster that buried the Giants. Look, we all know he should have gotten more offensive line help. That's a fucking fact, guys. I
But
mean,
Jules, can I stop you there? Just make this point.
You can't go from you just can't go from drafting Andrew Thomas to the fucking second year saying, yeah, we're good. We don't even need a fucking 5th round offensive lineman, bro. That was easy.
See, but that's where people get fucked up because they say that he didn't try to fix offensive line. He went and got a left tackle that just won 3 Super Bowls with Tom Brady. And he paid him top of the market money because he played well as a Patriot for fucking 5 years or 6 years, however long he was with the Patriots. Has 3 rings to show for his left tackle.
Plus, Flowers sucked.
Do that. In the second round,
yes.
In the second round, fucking they drafted Will Hernandez, who at the time everybody said that was a steal
the right
of a
pick.
pick.
Of course it was. No, it
Right.
was. No, but
So-
he buried himself where, like I said, he didn't really build too many pass
Didn't get it
rushes
right.
early on. He was not taking pass rushes early on in drafts. So he never went for the D line. And then on the flip end of that, how do you turn around where, look, he got Thomas, and Thomas had some rookie growing pains, which is fine, right? And now you're going into year 2, and you don't get one offensive lineman. You go an entire draft when you don't even have a top fucking 15 fucking offensive line, and now pick up one guy. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was little things
that bothered me a
that
little bit.
really hurt him.
It definitely bothered me too, Mike. But the question is, okay, in those range of picks that they were picking, were there any offensive linemen that were drafted? Because it's been a couple of years now. Were there any offensive linemen that were drafted in those ranges?
We could dedicate a show to that one.
Well, no, that actually turned. Wait.
Sure.
That turned into something worth drafting that they didn't get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was some like late rounders that you could say in 6th round, but like everybody passed on them. Yeah, we could go down that rabbit hole pretty fucking lengthy, but let's cut it off. Let's cut it off right there. We're trying to keep it fun about
we missed out on 1 or 2 offensive linemen. Would we have gotten one of those 2 guys right, or one of them right? Probably, maybe. Who knows, right?
All right, Jules.
But yeah, I mean,
Sure.
I guarantee you
minutes.
went through it, you could absolutely find some.
Yeah, that's what happens. All right,
We got 10 minutes.
Let's cut. Yeah, let's cut it off.
If you say something, you got to do it. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's what we
Stick
see
to your
here. Just
guns.
kind of like our boy fucking Dable, where he says, you don't fucking practice or you don't fucking play. And he stuck to it no matter who you are. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's it, bro. Like, that's what you got to be about. That's what winners do.
We got to do the picks now. We gotta do the picks.
Stick to your guns. That's the title of the show. But
Stick to your guns,
listen,
motherfucker.
I'll speed through this fucking my no, not the picks, the fucking the haters club. So basically I put up on the Chad Powers thing, I put up, this is my tweet. I put, got the best left tackle and the best running back in the entire NFL, but some of you only hate Dave Gettleman because you traded your lover boy OBJ. Hashtag go Giants, right? So I got a ton of heat. The guy Breaking Tackle Shy podcast, he's like, this is a terrible take on Gettleman. He put this franchise on life support, and any attempt to defend him is comical. I'm like, I didn't defend him. All I put was just straight facts that we end up got the best left tackle and the best running back. And a lot of you guys are just straight babies because you hate Dave Gettleman because he traded OBJ. That's it. So he came after me. A bunch of other guys. You could look up that tweet and look up all like the people coming after me besides him. You got guys, shout out to Jeff Fanero. He had a funny line. He's like, I hate him because he's a buffoon. He didn't care about his job. I thought that was fucking pretty funny. I think I like that shit. So there's a bunch of other guys that you guys, if you have time, go through, look up that tweet and look up the conversation because it's pretty funny. This guy Nick 14908, so that's his like fake account. He's like he was coming after us and shit like a little bit on the podcast, but it's all good fun, man. Just hate. So that's it. Take a look at that. And now we'll get into our favorite segment is the pick segment. We got to go after the spreads. So if you want to make some money. It's that time. We're moving up, guys. We had that Rai took over first place at 51, Mike Birdie at 50, and went right behind him at 45.
See, ever since we came up with the override, baby.
It's the override. I think we did like one override the whole time, but all right, here we go. Everybody's favorite game of the week, the Thursday night game. Bears are at home. They're -1 against Washington. Yo, Washington sucks. Rivera threw this quarterback under the bus, and Wentz. I'm taking the Bears at home. Bears -1.
Bears.
Why?
Bears?
Why?
All right.
The under over is 38, right? And
There's it is, Jules.
look, wait, hold on. I'm just saying this right here, right now.
We don't have time for your
Every
fucking
other
speeches,
The
Jules.
Bears
Pick a
are
team.
terrible, dude. The Bears are fucking absolutely terrible too.
So the
Okay.
Commanders.
They almost
And
beat the
fact
Vikings.
the fact that Ron Rivera's comment is, "Why are you 1-4 while the rest of your division is 4-1?" And he said, "Quarterback play." Bro, if Wentz doesn't come out and fucking go wild, he's done. He's playing for his fucking thing. Bro, it's a pick 'em, right? It's a pick 'em.
-1.
-1 Bears, right?
Yeah.
Bro, I love Washington. I'm telling you guys,
All right. So
maybe
maybe
it's an
Washington,
override
our
on
division
Washington.
is that good this year. Wait a minute. Our division
stink.
is that good this year where we're going to make noise. And it's not that I'm supportive. Remember I said bet small, not with your heart. Can I put maybe an override on the back burner?
if you
I'm going to
want,
put that on the back burner because I wanted to see what happens.
All
I can't
right,
jump on a Thursday night game.
we'll
But,
think
man, I
about
think
it.
I might have to pull it. We'll see.
All right, maybe
But
go
now
back
we
to
go
that.
Bears.
Next
All right,
game.
Bears.
Next game, the Bengals are away. The Bengals are -2 against the Saints. I actually like the Bengals. Fuck the Saints.
Yeah, listen, I got to go with the Bengals there too, bro. Like
Bengals.
they should have beat Baltimore. They're back. They're gonna make some noise.
Yeah,
No way you're gonna tell me that the two teams
Saints
that played
aren't
in
right.
the Super Bowl are gonna be under 500 6 weeks into the season.
Dalton and the other
Quick.
clown. Fuck him. All right, next game, Giants. They're at home. They're getting 5 points against the Ravens. I think we're all taking the Giants. They're playing hot.
Oh yeah, baby. Override,
Take the points,
motherfucker.
take the points. I
No
mean,
matter
Baltimore
what.
could cover, but take the points.
We gave you those details about that game. All right, next game. This is a weird game. Browns are at home. They're -3 against the Patriots.
Patriots.
I've been going back and forth. I know, John, you always take the fucking Patriots, but I kind of like the Browns this week, so it's really up to Jules.
Oh my gosh. Oh, talk about pressure. All right, so they're at 1 o'clock. What's his name? Bailey fucking
I don't
Bailey,
know who the fuck he is.
Bailey the fucking assassin or whatever.
It's crazy.
You know what? I think the
No.
Browns buried themselves in a hole where when they went so hard to get fucking, the sex offender Watson, right? And they sold out a lot for that. Yes, they have a good offense that runs the ball very well. And yes, they have a really good defense. But this fucking Bailey Zappi dude, man, like, I don't know what the fuck's happening. I can't, if this dude turns into fucking Brady 2.0, I'm going to laugh my fucking face off. But yo, they shut down one of the better offenses in the league this past week. So I'm all in on the
Jules, we
Patriots.
gotta go.
I like the Patriots.
We gotta go, bro. Come on.
We got time, bro. We got fucking
No, we
7
don't. We don't. We literally do not have time.
All right, so the Patriots it is. All right, next game. Colts are at home. They're -2 against the Jaguars. I'm taking the Colts.
I'm taking Jaguars.
Wait, what? Okay, John.
I'm saying Jaguars.
I'm just saying the way that you said it so quick and with such confidence, Mike, had me going crazy there for a second. But the Colts play really different at home. That's
They
the
do.
only reason why. If this was in Jacksonville, I would probably go Jaguars. But man, you were just riding them over Houston. What happened in that game? Just saying.
I don't know. They
I'll
look
go
like
with the
shit.
Colts, though.
All
I'll
right.
go with the Colts here.
I think it looks like shit. The next game, Packers, they're at home. They're -7 against the Jets. I'll take the Packers. They'll bounce.
Packers.
In Green Bay, I
Yeah,
guess.
Packers it is,
Packers.
no doubt. All right, next game, 49ers, they're away. They're -5.5 against the Falcons. 49ers had a couple injuries. Joey Bosa is probably going to be out. Atlanta plays tight. They got robbed on that rough in the passer. I'm going to take the Falcons getting the points.
I'm taking the Falcons too, Mike.
All right.
It's always tough when they come across. I hate that 5.5 spread. I think the 49ers win, but I don't think they cover.
That's why I'm taking that's why I think they're going to win 2 at a close game, but the Falcons, they play tough, man. All right, next game, Tom Brady is fucking playing the Steelers. Tom Brady is away. He's -8 against the Steelers. Steelers got blown out. They don't look good with Pickett. I know everybody, all these Giant fans wanted him as quarterback. He didn't look so good. I'm taking the Bucks.
So
Bucks.
what's the spread again?
8.
In Pittsburgh, right?
Yep.
Unless it's bad weather, I like Tampa.
All right,
Tampa,
Bucks it
yeah.
is. All right, next game, Vikings. They're down in Miami. Fuck the Vikings. I'm taking the Dolphins getting 3 points.
I'll
Who's
take the
playing
Vikings.
quarterback?
I don't care.
Oh, don't give no.
I don't
me
give a
that.
fuck.
The
Fuck
are
the
still
Vikings.
4 The Vikings are still 4-1, by the way.
They always
They're an ugly
disappoint.
4-1, but they're still 4-1. And you're gonna tell me a third straight
never cover.
quarterback in Miami's gonna beat them?
They never fucking cover the Vikings. They're fucking terrible.
It's
And-
free.
I'm going Vikings
What are you
here.
gonna win by 2?
So you who do you like, Jules? The Vikings?
Yeah, I like the Vikings.
All right, Vikings it is because John said it, but we'll think about that game. I
All right,
almost
you
wanna
go override.
it. I almost want to, but I won't. The Rams Rams are home. They're minus 10.5 against Carolina, who just fired Matt Rule. Panthers still got a good D.
Preacher, man.
Rams lost their.
The Rams are gonna fucking annihilate them. They're gonna smoke.
I actually
their
like the
assholes.
Panthers. I like the Panthers getting those points. I like the Panthers getting the points.
Wow.
They're
I'm
gonna
going
smoke
Rams
their
here.
assholes like a bomb right now. That's how
I
they're
don't
gonna
know,
smoke.
Jules.
That's how much they're
Rams
gonna
lost
smoke
their
Carolina.
Rams lost their guard today too. He's out. I don't
Bro,
know.
the NFL is not gonna
Shit,
let
man.
the two teams in the Super Bowl go to fucking under 500
what?
6 weeks in.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go actually Panthers because
Oh,
one
my
thing that happens in the
goodness.
NFL all the time is teams fire their coach and then fucking end up winning the
hard.
next game, and they don't have
That
to
was
win that
last
to
week.
cover fucking 11
It
points.
happened. Well, they
I don't
just
think they.
fired him.
I don't think they'll win, but I think they'll cover.
Yeah, Mike, I'm with,
You know
I'm
what
with
I'm
you.
saying? I think
Bro,
the Rams
Baker's
win.
not even. Oh my god, you guys are
I know.
killing me right
I
now.
think
Go
the
ahead,
Rams
let's
win by
go.
a
Keep
touchdown.
going.
Hey,
Telling
you
you.
got your override in your back pocket, Jules. All right,
I
next
know,
game.
I got 3
Cardinal.
games circled.
Cardinals, they're minus 2.5. They're in Seattle. I like the Cards.
Cards.
Okay, the Cardinals have yet to score a point in the first quarter. I repeat, the
weird,
Cardinals have yet to score a point in the first quarter. And they're going
Seahawks
to go
lost
into Seattle
Penny.
and beat Geno Smith, who's playing like he's in fucking West Virginia again.
He's gonna
I
come
know.
back to earth. He's gonna
Seahawks.
come back to earth.
Seattle,
Yeah,
man.
he will.
Holy
Seahawks.
fuck, that was
Seahawks
amazing.
lost Penny. Like that's the game. I love the Cardinals.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, Kenneth Walker, the kid's a stud. And
Yeah,
all
he
you
did
motherfuckers that
play
are in the
good.
league that he's a free agent in,
I know.
you better put a fucking 1,000 on him to get him.
There's a few. There's a
Come on,
few.
Smalls.
I mean, it's
Three
still
more
DJ. Still DJ Dallas in there. All right, next game. Ooh,
Yeah.
the rematch. Bills. They're in Kansas City. Bills are minus 2.5. Give me Kansas City.
Bro, that line went up to 3. Okay. Kansas City ain't that good. Buffalo needs this win because this is going to determine home field advantage. You heard it here. They need this win. It's 3 fucking years in a row that they had to go into Kansas City, not including the playoffs now, and fucking play them. They beat them last year. They're the team. They're going to fucking win that game.
It's up to John. I know it's a tough one.
It is.
Bills. I can see the Bills winning this game.
All right,
Awful
Bills.
low.
Bills. It is. I won't override because that's the game of the week. That's a 4:00 game.
Oh,
All
absolutely.
right, next game. Fuck this game. The
What's
Eagles are
Oh, my
home. They're
God.
minus 5 against the Cowboys. I'll just take
Bro,
the Cowboys
I'll
getting
take
the
the
points.
Cowboys with the points. Fuck
Yeah,
it. Yo, the
yeah.
Cowboys are a better team. They might win that game outright.
They might. They actually
You know,
might.
like,
Who would you guys
like,
prefer
all
to
shit
win
aside,
that game?
Fuck the Eagles.
Cowboys.
5 points to fucking 4-1 Cowboys. Get the
Fuck the Eagles. I hate the Eagles. I don't care what the fuck. I hope the Cowboys fall. I hope it ties so we can get the fucking credit for the points. And fuck them both. All right, next game. Chargers, the last game, the Monday night. Chargers are at home. They're minus 5 against Russell Wilson's Broncos.
They
That look
suck,
like
the
shit.
Broncos. They suck. I hate
Chargers
the
all day,
Broncos.
right?
Chargers all day.
That's a best
Chargers.
bet, I think. Yeah, let's just put that in right now. All right,
We
we
can do a
need,
best bet there.
now, Jules. Do you want to override anything before we get into the rest of the best bet?
So I need to make this quickly public. You got to give me at least a minute here. All right.
All right,
I
John,
am really,
give me your
really
best bet,
torn
John.
here. I am really torn here with the Rams, Washington, and San Francisco. Okay. And here's how I kind of play this off a little bit, but man, I hate the 1:00 games with them coming in. You said what? San Francisco's got a bunch of injuries. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, they lost safety, they lost a corner, lost linebacker.
Yo, give me Washington with the fuck. I'm going Washington override, and that's my pick. If you're gonna override, you got to go all in on it.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, Washington's gonna beat the Bears.
You want
Watch.
you want that as a money ball pick? Your money ball
have to.
pick? All right,
That's the rule.
John, give me a money ball pick.
Cardinals.
Cardinals. Okay, I'll take the Giants.
Yeah, bro.
And we are
Oh,
and we are
damn.
done. We are done. Jules, wrap this up so we can go watch the
All right,
game.
well, listen. I know we kind of
Go
rushed the
Yankees,
picks.
go
Pay
Giants.
attention to what it said. Play that part real slow. We're getting ready because the motherfucking Yankees are getting ready to play some baseball, right? Playoff time. That's right. Let's get some fucking shit going. But let's also keep in mind the Giants are fucking 4-1. And you should be if you're a fan of the actual sport of football. I think that Baltimore game is going to be a good game to watch. It's going to be close. It's going to go down to the wire. It's going to be back and forth. It's going to be emotional like it was this past Sunday in London. But that's what you're going to be in store for. So go out and enjoy that shit. If you're a baseball fan and root for your team, don't be like the Mets that fucking choked and fucking blew it on Sunday night. All right, we all root for winners on this show, and that's what's going to happen with the Yankees. So let's keep it going. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Shout out to the UK guys. We seen you guys. There's pictures of you guys everywhere. You nuts.
Everywhere. Where's
Have
Waldo, bro?
Fucking great. Where's Waldo's right, man? All right, go Giants. We out. Peace.